Hey guys, so I'm gonna do a quick Bitcoin technical analysis and basically looking at up to the 28th of April. I'm showing it here on Bitcoin. And the funny thing is that, okay, of course we had that massive dump and now we've been going up, right? And we had this trend line here, which pretty much every single person had. So it was sort of like a rising wedge. We broke below it and we were grinding against it, unable to break out. And we had the reducing volume, so you'd think, we're weak. The markets are weak. The Bitcoin is very correlated with S&P 500 at the moment, and the market's about to dump as well. And Bitcoin's gonna dump. And then I thought, hey, maybe it's time to try to short Bitcoin, and I did some shorts uh, before. But then I thought, when trading, you got to think, how can you be wrong? And basically, the Bitcoin halving is coming up in about 8 days and 23 hours, right? So it was very soon, right? So basically, how can you be wrong? Well, you can be wrong because the people that move the markets and people that the big whales. What they call them in crypto, big whales, they would think, hey, this is a really good opportunity to actually push the price up into Bitcoin halving and then sell off. So I thought, hey, you know what? We're grinding up here and we could actually be bullish. And lo and behold, that's exactly what happened. We had increase in volume. We had a huge pump here, all the way up to 9,500, and now we're consolidating. So very interesting. I did play bullish here, not as much size as I would have liked to have played because, but we're getting positive results here. So the big thing now is on the weekly, where we stopped. Where we stopped is this trend line here, which is acting as a resistance right now. Very big, very important resistance. Also, it lines up with the weekly previous top over here, which we tried to break above. We got rejected. Well, if we go back over here, then we had it as a resistance here. Then we used it as a support, break below it as a resistance again. Then we rejected from it. Then we went above it, and we used it as a support, but then we couldn't stay above it. We had this massive breakdown, and now we're coming up again to this area. So there's a resistance here horizontal. There's a triangle on the weekly here as well. So this is a very technical point to stop at and have a break, at least consolidate, and that's what the price is doing. We had a massive on the daily. We had a massive rejection week here. It is a red doji or whatever, and now we're sort of consolidating, and we're trying to set up some sort of an equilibrium. I would say. So. If you go have a look on the 4 hour, we had the high, we had the low, or maybe on 12 hours. So we had the high, we had the low. Now we're about to set a lower high here and then start consolidating, right? So that's probably the most likely scenario at the moment. At the same time, we had this massive. If you look at it, we had a massive injection of the volume here. So the whole way up, on the whole ground way up, we were reducing the volume here, as you can see. It's been reducing, getting lower and lower, and boom, we had the spike just before the halving. You can see I put the halving on the chart here, which is happening on the 12th of May. So only a short time, we can stay in this equilibrium until then. Let's say we consolidate, and then we shoot back up so that the whales can trap all the longs, and then possibly we dump as a sell the news event, right? We can have a sell the news event, which we did have before, and that's what happened before at previous halvings. Is the price of Bitcoin actually sold off to the halving for a few weeks before rising up again. So that's what I'm expecting. I'm also going to be looking at this trend line again to once again hold if we do touch it, just for flips. But the main thing is obviously this, as I said, this weekly chart. So you don't want to go long here unless we break above it. Unless we break above it and start closing above it, then you can start to play bullish. So pretty simple on Bitcoin. There's not much else I can say. I'm not even going to. You can look at this EMA here, which is the 4-hour 13 EMA. It's 4-hour 13 EMA, and that's been pretty good guide here. So you can see this pump here. It was support. It was never closing below it. Now it's support again. So it's a pretty good guide. If we do break below it, then we do expect to come down lower and possibly down to this. Otherwise, you want to buy here all the time on the touch of this EMA here. The other thing is we got this little short-term trend line for 2 days now over here. That's supporting as well, and you can see we pumped up here and then we dumped, and we didn't touch the trend line, and we didn't touch the EMA as well. So they are acting as a support at the moment. That's pretty much all for Bitcoin. Weekly is your guide. We want to set a weekly high low somewhere after a huge pump, of 150%. All right, that's it. See you guys later.